My name is Lowry Sabalkin. I wish to address a scientific point. You asked concerning if you drain down a water source to the point that the spring stops, what happens? The answer is, well, they stopped pumping it. Shortly thereafter, it came back and everybody went on with their business. Unfortunately, 10 minutes ago, a person in the audience left who is an environmental engineer who specializes in water issues, and she knows how to present this better than I, but I'll give it a crack because she's not here. I don't have an axe to grind in this contest one way or the other. I just want to present this information because it's important. When you draw water from a subsurface source, whether it's 600 feet down or a much shallower aquifer, you pull it down to a certain point and then back off, depending on the climate, depending on the part of the nation or the part of the world you're in, it will refill. If you draw it down beyond a point that I don't know how to predict, and I'm not certain that even scientific boffins know how to individually predict, you draw it down too far and a kind of settlement happens. The space, the potential space between the grains of whatever the material is, the sand, the gravel, whatever the material that makes up the solid portion of this aquifer is, they settle. The recovery is stunted. If that ground has settled and further compacted or knitted itself, it can no longer absorb and hold as much water as it did before this occurred. So, if we have a relatively shallow aquifer and we have 1 million gallons per time unit taken from it, year after year after year, and that spring keeps doing its thing, it keeps recharging just fine, and then we run into a 2-year dry spell, kind of the antithesis of what we just had. If this is the level of the top of that aquifer and 2 years of pumping pulls it down to here, no problem, it'll go back up again. But if you go below this line and the settlement begins, it not so much may not, but it will not recover. I can't give you facts, I can't give you data. The engineer that could isn't here. But this is something for those of you that really care to research. Because if these aquifers will not be pumped down below the critical level, probably not a problem. But I can't tell you, and I don't know who can, you can reach that breaking point. Once you've reached it, they do not recover completely, and every time you bump that point, they recover less and less and less. And eventually, your wells are no longer 50 feet or 80 feet or 100 feet. They're going down and down and down. And there is a bottom to these babies. Thank you.